Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. I'm joined by the ever so lovely Alice. Alice talks football. You know, if you want to do the other channel, I don't even know how to say it backwards. Is it Akila or
Yeah, Aquila,
Akila?
yeah.
Akila
I don't even know how to pronounce it, to be fair.
sounds Greek, but yeah, she's gonna be here weekly. Hopefully. We've scheduled about 3 times. Different. Meant to do it yesterday. You know, New Year's bit different, but it usually would come out on a Wednesday. But we got loads to talk about either way. You know, big January clear out allegedly. You know, Casemiro Saudi stuff. We've got the Rashford situation, of course. There's stuff about Lindelof and also some other fragile players that pretty much just for what surplus requirements, I'd say. So, but beyond that, we've got a new keeper on that agenda as well. How true this is, we don't know, but we'll talk about it. Why not? It's content. But how are we doing, Alice? We just had a nice chat about our squad. How
Yeah.
far we come since McFred.
Oh, not that far. I'm doing good when I don't think about United being in 14th.
We could be 15th if we write off this weekend. By the way, if Palace
Yeah.
decide they want to go and beat Chelsea.
Realistically, it's 0 points this weekend, but you've got to have that 1% hope.
I've got that 1% hope. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make that 8%. I think we've got an 8% chance to get a point.
Do you know what? I'll take that. Liverpool might underestimate us. They might think these guys are rubbish and think it's going to be an easy game.
Oh, they do think that. They definitely think that. I'm just thinking along the lines of in big games, I suppose we are in the game a little bit more than less. Arsenal, Tottenham, oh my god. It's not even a big game. It's a mid game. Chelsea and whatnot. Like for me, it's just I think we manage it a little bit better than what we're used to. It's just the fact that as soon as they get a corner, I probably can suspect Van Dijk to get at least his head on 2 of the corners.
I thought about putting him in FPL because of that.
Oh my god, you're playing against us. That's great. That is
I don't rate us. I've got Salah captain. I was like, do I put Van Dijk in? I was like, the only Man United player I've got in FPL is Ahmad because I just don't trust us.
Even then, you got this toxic fan base saying put him back at right wing back and stuff like this, or just get rid of the manager. I can't stand it. Are you seen all of it? I see your replies in your Twitter mentions sometimes. For the ones that when you do a breakdown or on a certain player, and it's just like, give it. I'm just thinking like, give it a rest. I've noticed with this fan base, not the ones maybe not watching now. It's just there's no such thing as patience.
Literally, like haven't been super impressed with Zirkzee, but overreaction. Like the difference between Højlund's first 3 months and Zirkzee's first 3 months, it's like Zirkzee's like killed someone. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah, Højlund's first few months were atrocious,
I
and
know.
do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking like, well, I think we play better with Zirkzee up top, anyways, because we retain the ball in a false 9 a little bit more. Yeah, but then there's, of course, this is a great segue. To be fair, we talk about January clear out. Zirkzee's one of the names on the list potentially going the other way. These Juve links are just not running away anytime soon. I know they've got up front is Vlahovic, really and truly. Beyond that is there's no other options, and obviously Thiago Motta, Bologna. So of course it's easy links. Zirkzee might want to go. After like him going into the tunnel and stuff like that. He's probably reevaluating his options, don't you think?
Yeah. If Rashford goes as well, I think there's no point with Zirkzee because he has players that run off him because he's dropped a bit deeper. And I think he was brought in for Rashford, and Rashford said he wants a new challenge. So I wouldn't be shocked if Zirkzee parts way in summer, especially if Rashford looks like he's sort of gone. Amorims done with him. He subbed Anthony and Garnacho on over him. And let's be honest, however you feel about Rashford, he's better than Anthony and Garnacho, even if he's been crap.
Yeah, but Anthony's got that kind of new role in a way. I mean, in one of those 10s, yeah, I agree. But Anthony's like, he's not good enough for his price. Don't get me wrong, but he's better than what we've got in because we've got too many defensive options. And every time he's got a cameo, he's been quiet. He's done all right.
At wing back, he's done all right. At 10, it's like, oh my.
So with me and Zirkzee, the way I find it though, when you talk, like, I'm glad that you spoke about, like when. Like running in behind, but do you not remember the Everton game in the second half? Amram said, right, you're going to play more false 9. And before you knew it, Ahmad and Bruno, even Rashford played that game.
Yeah, he got 2 goals that game.
They were getting in behind a lot more.
Yeah.
And you got to think, if you go look at Everton's recent results, they haven't been getting smashed all over the gaff. We gave them one of their heaviest defeats since Tottenham, I think. And then obviously they lost to Forest at their gaff. So it's just, I just feel like, when they're talking about tweaks, I don't think there should be a change of shape in the system. But I think there still might be a bit of a role for Zirkzee to play in. Like, there's not, you know what I'm finding? There's not the same energy for someone like Højlund. And I'm not saying you should play against one another, but
Yeah.
if we're being honest, if you look at goals to game ratios in the Premier League, Zirkzee's actually outperforming Højlund.
Yeah, and I think with Zirkzee as well, like he's not been amazing, but there was definitely games like the Crystal Palace game, which was 0-0. The minute we took Zirkzee off, there was no threat because he was
Brighton.
controlling the ball.
Yeah.
Like Southampton game, Zirkzee put in a good
He was
performance.
amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and he's had a few really good performances. In the Everton game, we had, I think, Zirkzee and Rashford and Bruno, I think, were the front three. And
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
actually a really good second half because Zirkzee was dropping deep and Rashford was making runs and Ahmad was just doing his thing, winning back the ball. And it's like, for me, I think, there's certain games where if you're going to want to run Aaron behind Højlund, but if you're going to have possession, I think Zirkzee up top, if you can get the players around him to complement him, and works.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. And one that fans don't find working, that's just, you've seen it. We've all seen it. This Casemiro to Al Nassr links as well. Is that realistic?
I think so, if Casemiro wants to go, because Saudi had an interest last summer, but I think Casemiro was a bit like, ooh, actually, I had a bad season, but can I get back on track? I think he was a bit early to cut it to Saudi, but I think now with Man United where they're at, and I think the fact that Casemiro is just on the bench under Ram, and it's not like Ten Hag was playing Casemiro, and so Casemiro knew he was going to get minutes still. Whereas like Erikson and Casemiro, like they're only playing when they have to under Amor, and he don't rate them. Even though Casemiro, when he plays with Agate, and Agate can do like some of the off the ball stuff, so he doesn't need to be as mobile. He looked quite good under Rudy, and I think it could work with Casemiro, but he can't play with Erikson. We know that. We saw that versus Newcastle anymore.
Like, how much can we realistically get for him? Because I know some people think, Saudi, look at Fabinho, 40 million. I don't think that's their strategy no more.
They changed it up, yeah.
I think we get 25, 30 million tops. We'd be lucky to get that.
I think they'll bid 15 million and we'll do something like 20 million with add-ons. Generally, I think United will be like, shit, we need money, like FFP.
Yeah. And I know we're all hopeful that, even Erikson leaves and whatnot. I don't see in a world where Erikson, I know there's this Ajax links going back there, a couple million. I'm getting his wages off the books is like literally a transfer budget in itself, like 10 million. Yeah. Or what can we do with that? 200 grand a week. I don't see where he leaves. If I'm Erikson, I'm thinking, well, I'm seeing out what money I've got, no?
Yeah, literally. I doubt he goes. Unless he really wants minutes because he ain't playing under Amorims. I think he'll be like, in the summer, I've got choice. Lindelof, staying because he's injured. But
is he injured for a long time?
I have no idea, but like he's injured and he's not going to be used.
Oh, is he injured? Like, I'm just going to see myself
like Martial last year.
Yeah, or something along them lines. I'm injured, but I'm not really injured. He was actually all right when the game he was playing. Wait, what game was it when he came on? Was it Tottenham?
I think it was. He came on and he got injured again.
Yeah. Oh, he did, didn't he?
He didn't do a bad job, but like, De Ligt is better. Euro's better. Leach, he's out of form, is still better. He's been
if I say what I want to say about you just said what, Lissandro, yeah?
Out of possession. In possession, lovely. Out of possession.
Lovely, amazing. I don't even want to think about it. You know what it is? It's just I'm not gonna be. I try not to be reactionary to the last few games because let's not act like beforehand we were talking about how good he's been on the ball and he's been all right and he's 1v1s, but it's just like I've got PTSD now with corners, and after seeing that Newcastle part, the way we can see or even the Bournemouth game, it's like, oh my word! As soon as we get a bit of a pressing team, our options we lack options pretty much, anyways. And if we lack options because he can't pass no one, what else have you got for us? So yeah, we need to recruit money badly because I'm pretty sure all these like MENs like Manchester Evening News and stuff are making just educated guesses that United don't have no money.
Yeah, I think as well, Man United, they'll do this every window. They'll put out there's not much money to spend because they know United tax. If Man United have made it very clear they had a 250 million budget and they bid 40 million on a player, they're going to think, oh, it's Man United coming in. Let's make the price 60 million. So United tax, they'll say, oh, we've only got 60 million to spend. They do it every year. We've only got 60 million to spend in summer and we spend 200 million. It's like a tactic, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. I just refuse to believe that United's got not even 20 million to go into January with.
Yeah, I reckon we've got about 20 million, but I think to push it further, we'd have to sell.
Who do you think? quick one. I know we I think it's a bit too late to be talking on the transfers. That's not really, but obviously the names that are sparkling is Alvaro Fernandez and Nuno Mendes.
Mm.
Do you believe we even get one of them in?
Alvaro's the more realistic, I think, just the buyback and everything. But it's whether depends how highly he is rated.
Does he want to come back?
Yeah, that's also another question. Like,
you're at Benfica thriving, you're doing quite well. You'll get a move at some point. Like, regardless, you're young, you get a lot of minutes. You're in Europe, like as in Champions League and stuff. Would you want to come back?
probably not. I mean, Ten Hag's gone, who kicked him out basically. So maybe that's the only pull. But
And I think the second one, does he even suit wing back? Because I look at him more of as a tradition. I know I saw his Preston highlight. He really did get down that byline quite a lot, but I look at him as more of a traditional fullback. Where Nuno Mendes, I think, is more better suited to obviously a wing back situation.
I agree. I think he's better than what we've currently got, but I think there's better.
As well.
But I think there's better fits out there. I think he's someone, like how Shaw and Malacia are going, and Nuno Mendes would be the Luke Shaw replacement. He would be like the Malacia replacement, I think.
Can we get rid of Shaw? Like, that's another one. Could be. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think his contract expires not the summer coming up, the next summer.
Yeah, he's just
I might even be wrong about that part. Is it 2026? It might even be 2027.
I don't know. He got a new contract because he played well and stayed fit for a year. And now he's just him and Mason Mount have just been like, I call them breadstick legs. Like, honestly.
Right, that's another one I can't stand. It's amazing that we thought we did have major problems under so-called managers, whether it's Mourinho, not as much. Obviously, with Ibrahimovic, young Marcel, Rashford, etc. You're the only one to say, yeah, we need this and this and this, and go get us Ronaldo, who's old and dusty anyways. And then Maguire setting us back and whatnot. He's like, yeah, but we got these problems, and now we just got problems everywhere. I don't think I've ever seen or witnessed in my lifetime, anyways, United that needs such a clear out.
Honestly, it's mad because it's like in the summer we've got to be realistic. Like we can't get everyone new. But I'm like, look, Ahmad would be best at right 10, but he's the only natural right wing back to progress the ball. So we're going to need a right wing back, a left wing back. We're going to need a left centre back. We're going to need at least one midfielder to replace Casemiro and Erikson to take the pressure off Agate. We're going to need a left 10 because Rashford's going to go. And we're going to need probably a backup striker to Højlund because I think Zirkzee could be used more as a 10.
Backup striker? I don't think... Do you think...
Someone to challenge him. Someone to challenge him more.
Zirkzee, after that cameo in that 10, again, with Højlund, I don't think he's ever going to play there ever again. I don't see how we get a backup to even Højlund. I look at that thinking our main issue really is, like, don't get me wrong, the squad is crap. Like, it's no good. But our issue is goals. So imagine getting a backup to a striker that barely even gets us goals.
When I say backup, I mean someone that will challenge him. So, like, I'd love Gyökeres, but we've got to be realistic with the budget.
Osimhen, maybe?
Osimhen, again, he's very much a guy that needs service, though, and that's my only worry.
Yeah, but if you deep it with United, we're always talking about situations like Newcastle, like Bournemouth. Actually, here's another one. Who's the one that we recently lost before, even Nottingham Forest? We talk about situations where we need goals and someone's not being clinical because Højlund tapping. Yeah. Who's that against? 2 whips across the box against Bournemouth. I believe it was Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? And we missed both of them. Osimhen scores that.
True. He would, especially with his head. He's very good with his head.
And also, remember, I know we don't whip in enough crosses, in my opinion, from right or left, right? But Højlund's garbage in the air as well.
Yeah, he's not great in the air. He's good when he has the ball in front of him and he can run at people. But
run into space,
but he's not as good at that back to goal work. Where Zirkzee's quite good at having his back to goal, paying off people. Gyökeres is dreamland. Like for me, if someone said, "What's your dream Man United front three next year?" Gyökeres up top, Ahmad right 10, Cunha left 10.
Cunha left 10. So you got two. You got basically 3 ball carriers. One's better than the other one. The other one can actually do a bit of everything. Hold up. I wouldn't say his link up's amazing, but he's definitely strong.
Yeah.
Physical. Powerful, isn't it? Physical. Like one is going to get beyond, like, let's say he's in a foot chase for Saliba, flipping out. I think I might back Gyökeres on that part. You never know. Even though I think did they recently play each other? And yeah, I mean, then again, Gyökeres was kind of quiet, but that's post Amorims, to be fair.
Yeah, post Amorims.
But yeah, do you talking on Rashford? Is for me, like we spoke about it just briefly. I'm very confused at his message. Oh, like, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? Like, what is it? Are you trying to save face? Like, oh, I've asked to leave, but I'm not forcing to leave. I can play if you want, but I'm gonna make sure that the agencies are not doing nothing for me. Like, if someone wants me, then they can just come and approach. That's the way he looks like. It's like he's trying to save face a little bit.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what to think, because I think you've said you've come out and you want a new challenge. And like, I think the thing is, since he's come out and said he wants a new challenge, there's been like 30 million trillion reports on Rashford, and a lot of them have been nonsense clickbait. Like the Telegraph have wrote about 16 articles on Rashford because it gets clicks. So I can understand his frustration, because the Sun have come out and made up that he brought his representatives with him to Carrington to have a meeting about wanting to leave, which I can understand he's annoyed about the amount of stuff that's been made up.
Yeah.
But you did say you want a new challenge. So when you say that, you kind of, even though a lot of the reports aren't true, and most of them probably aren't true, you've said you want a new challenge, so that is what you're going to get. And you can call them out for being fake, but they're feeding off the fact that you said you want a new challenge to then say all of this. And it's kind of like, for me, I feel like he is wanted to make other clubs know that he's up for a new challenge, because I think he's realised it's stale between him and United, and him and Amorim. And I think he wants to get other clubs' attention to see if people make bids for him. But I think, he doesn't like now the media reports that he's desperate to leave, and he doesn't want to act as if he's desperate to leave United to save his image in case maybe someone doesn't come in for him. That's how I see it.
I don't know. I don't know if you got anyone in mind. I've only got one club in mind that's realistic for him, and that's Arsenal. And that might even be a stretch at this point, because they're looking at right wingers, and I don't think you should need. They need left winger. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's priority this window. Saka's out for a good few months. They need a right winger. I know people might.
Or someone versatile, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Someone that can maybe play out through the middle or whatever. But they got Martinelli in that sort of mold. I'm not saying he's Rashford, but I'm not saying they're far off one another.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because if you look at Arsenal, they need someone that makes them a threat in transition, because that's where they lack for me. And Rashford brings that. The thing is, if Rashford is good, and you see like 2022 Rashford at like Arsenal, then that's a really good signing. But do Arsenal want to take that risk? Because Sterling's not really paid off. And like for me, I could see actually, because I said 2 years ago, my dream Man United front three would have been Kane striker. This was just before we signed Højlund. Elise right wing, Man United left wing. So maybe Bayern look at him, because that would complement Kane.
Do you think Kompany would want him though?
I don't know. That's the question.
It could suit them, but it might suit them. But again, it might come down to the wage parts as well. Bayern have kind of gone a whole new direction, since the Mane thing, and they gave him quite a decent wage or whatever. It's just like, cool, scrap that. I know they're trying to get rid of Gnabry or Sane. There's all that situation going over there. Is Rashford what they need? Maybe he might do. Actually, you know what? In the Bundesliga, he probably does really well.
I think he suits that league the most.
Elise, they got an outlet of maybe someone that was going to get you 20 Bundesliga goals or something like that. They might like him over there.
I think he suits it better than Spain. Apparently he wants Spain, but I'm thinking when you look at the defenders in the Bundesliga, apparently he wants to move to Spain, but I don't think he suits La Liga. It's more low block.
Who's the only one I can see going La Liga is Atletico Madrid, because of the whole Argentinian link up. Is Garnacho, and he works hard, works off the ball quite well. It would suit that team. Rashford.
I think he wants Barca, but I don't know if they can't afford him.
Yeah, I mean, and he's now a free agent.
I'd take him. Oh my, I'd take him.
I'm all for, like, to be fair, beforehand, I was quite against Daniel Olmo, thinking, that's not a good enough option. Now we played with 2 10s. I'm thinking, he's an amazing option.
That's me.
And then beyond that, it's like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure someone else will table an offer that's in your. Well, it'll be cup tied, to be fair. So you can only go and play league games if you don't go back to Barcelona. But it's like, I'm pretty sure Man City would want him. I'm pretty sure Arsenal may want him as well. He's versatile, plays right wing. He might be on a free. And then also you can play for the Erdegaard if need be. Probably would choose them. Liverpool potentially could be a thing. They were linked with him the whole summer as well. In that Thames position, might need an extra midfielder. There you go. I don't see how United get him. I mean, we say that and people say, but look at Euro. Like, you rejected Madrid. I'm like,
but we're 14th now.
Euro's 18. He's 18. It's a little bit more easy to convince someone about their development rather than someone that's 26 and established.
I don't think we get him, but when we were linked to him in the summer, I said I like him, but it's not a priority. I said, the 110, I say it's not quite what we need. But now we play with 2 10s and Mount's out till March, and got it. I think go for it, but we won't get him.
No, I don't see it. that Catalonia mafia would they're gonna work it out one way or another.
They will. Like,
Yeah.
they get away with it all. I mean, we're linked to De Jong again.
Oh God. You know what? I'm not gonna say oh God, but look at his injury record.
Yeah, he fit in.
Oh, he fit right. And you know
He
what?
makes a Mountain Sure.
So if you're gonna count Barcelona out, because they can't even afford anyone, let alone whatever, Bayern Munich's an option. I ain't seen that. I ain't seen any links there. And
No
company's all
links.
about attitude as well, by the way. If you haven't noticed, everyone
Yeah.
knows them Anderlecht videos circulating or Burnley ones. And I don't put Rashford in the correct attitude category for me, anyways. From what I've seen, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that are unseen as well. In fairness, the only thing is I can only don't see Juventus coming in for him anytime soon. Thiago Motta just plays a whole different style.
Yeah. He doesn't suit. I don't think he suits the Italian clubs. Napoli would be the one he'd suit the most, but they've got Kvaratskhelia, so what's the point?
They would probably put him up front. But then again, it would have to be in the two. They don't really play. Have you not noticed? They don't. He only plays like he plays Lukaku basically up front by himself, and McTominay's behind. It's like a 4-2-3-1 ultimately.
Yeah,
It's not even a three at the back.
It works quite well though. McTominay with his late runs, but
I'm telling you now, what's ever good for Napoli, you do not put McTominay and Rashford in the same team again. No chance. And we talk about Conte working hard. Don't see that with Rashford again. There's
yeah,
another
that's
one.
another thing.
New challenge maybe. And I just thought another thing. This is no, it's not happening because I was thinking like the whole Juventus thing. See, if we do end up cashing on Casemiro, I'm hoping we go for Douglas Luiz. He's out of favour. Barely plays for them. He's had a couple injuries, and I'm thinking he's already Premier League proven. You need someone who can do the dictating role and the 8 role. He's perfect.
He could do a job for sure. I'm skeptical on him because I thought he was a bit overrated. Because I always thought I thought he was a good player. And I would have taken him at United because our midfield was dead and it still ain't great. But I actually prefer Edison of Atalanta from what I've seen, just because of like the legs.
But if you think of like what's available now,
now, yeah, we need
Edison, like Atalanta are flying. Good luck getting him. I mean, I would trust Atalanta to go out there and go get someone, right? But for me, don't see him moving. If he can get a Scudetto, I'm not leaving. Not in January. No chance.
Yeah,
We're doing well in all fronts. You know what I mean? He's already won a trophy with them in Europa League and stuff. I think he would be doing them a disservice.
He's a summer signing for sure.
I think the most realistic for me, I don't know if you've seen it. I think the most realistic situation for Rashford is probably a loan with an obligation to buy. And I'm thinking, if we can do that one way, I think our most realistic option is a Douglas Luiz because Angel Gomez. I said Angel Gomez yesterday on Saudi TV, right? And they said, but I saw the comments that no, he's injured now, like for a month or two or something. I doubt he's going to get him. I'm like, that's the situation gone. That's a 10 version, like an easy 10. Like you can get him for like 10, 15 million maybe because he's going on a free. I think Douglas Luiz has got to be the only option I can think of as a central midfielder that we can go and acquire.
I also
just because he's proven.
His girlfriend isn't happy in Italy, and she has to go with him everywhere.
Oh, and we've got a women's team that could do with a layman. Do you know what I mean?
Double deal there, but
Ratcliffe
don't like the women's team, so he'll probably be like, "Nah, we won't bring her with us."
They do well though, to be fair. Like I can see if it's within the deal, I'm pretty sure it's easy. They got their own budgets and whatnot. I'm pretty sure that can be worked out. So
it's definitely one to consider, and like because when you think there's only a set amount of players that are available in January, and that's the most annoying thing because I could name 6 players that I'd love at United, but I know that all 6 of them will not be available in January.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, unless you have to go for someone, I think, from a lower, like a club where going to Man United's a massive deal. So, if you look at Dorgu, like he may be because it's like Man United.
He just signed a new contract.
I know. So that means that's going to be like 40 million.
Off the rip.
So that's going to be tough. Like Kirk has another one, but Bournemouth won't sell in January.
I know. I hear all that. Like, but I'm hearing like Ruben. I know it's hard to bring in the youth, etc., etc. And we talk about this Mantanto and all this kind of stuff. I mean, if you're going to bring in someone that's 19, right, who's not got mad goals and assists, why don't you just put one of them in? Like in my opinion, it's a free option. You get to develop him, and if you do believe in him that much, right, and that's just one name. I don't know much about him, to be fair, but go and develop him for half a year. The season's a write-off anyways. Like, let's be real, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
The only thing we got going for us maybe the FA Cup, which is not really mad pride. It is Europa League. That's the only route to Champions League, and we look all right in Europa League at the moment. We're unbeaten still there, bar the first couple
Most
of games.
of the teams are crap in there because no
except
Champions
for
League clubs
Lazio,
come down.
except for Lazio, who are doing absolutely fine. There's another team I can't remember who doing well, but on our day, you could probably beat a Lazio, maybe. But that's just wishful thinking. But again, it's just like I feel like maybe trust the youth a little bit, especially in the wide areas. You're allowed to lose the ball a little bit more.
Mass, I mean, it's a difficult one because on the ball he's good, but off the ball, the lack of physicality with Martinez on the left could be trouble.
It is trouble. That's why I don't think he's getting a look in. I'm hoping Toby Collier I know he's been injured for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, but he's got the legs.
And the ball carrying. And I'm thinking, surely not anything worse than an Erikson.
Yeah.
Surely. Do you know what I mean?
Amorims system as well.
Yeah, like if it's such a right, like I know after we got like Southampton, what a game to introduce a young buck into the team. Do you know what I mean? And
100%.
Don't rely on him. Go get something with them. Sorry, that's quite rude. But I'm saying with them. And then it relieves the pressure a little bit. You still got your Anthony. I know he's not the best. He's got to go still, in my opinion. But you can still rotate them as you wish. It's just this whole January it's so important. For me, it's super important. It's super important. We got to make sure if we can get rid of 3 players, hopefully, we might be in a better situation. And I don't know if you agree with this. I feel like even one wing back that's capable solves a lot of our issues.
I said
just
this,
a little bit. Just one player.
One wing back. Ideally left wing back. Because like Mazraoui. I said this. I don't mind Mazraoui right wing back if the left wing back's really, really attacking. But if you're playing 2 defensive wing backs, it's not going to work. So like Mazraoui Delot's not going to work. Malassi is not going to work. Shaw would probably be the best option, but let's be honest. He's probably never going to play again.
One game and out. Yeah, he ain't playing again.
Yeah. So it's like, for me, I was at this point where I said I'd stick Anthony left wing back because I just don't think Delot is going to work there. We've seen enough of it.
I would actually put Mazraoui there.
Yeah, or Mazraoui left wing back.
Have you noticed that Mazraoui's a little bit more comfortable or a little bit more...
He's better on the left
than he is the right?
I think his best position under Amorims will be right centre-back long term, just because...
Yeah.
But I think left wing back, I think he's more comfortable than Delot on that left-hand side for sure.
I would say so. I agree on that part. And then I don't mind this Anthony Ahmad link up because for what Anthony lacks in IQ, Ahmad makes up enough for it when he attacks. So it's like whereas if you put Anthony with, let's say Bruno's in the left 10 or whatever situation it may be, I'm hoping he sees that Mainu needs to be that guy there. But if it is a Bruno,
pace for that. Maino in the left 10.
You know what it is for me is keeping the ball high up the pitch and not having a turnover. Mainu's back to goal is superb. He doesn't need to do as much doggy work as you would in the 8 as well. You do need to work, but not that. And remember, Mainu come through the ranks as naturally as a left winger. That's why he's so comfortable in that left hand, like that left space. You see what he's like with his feet in the box. You know how he goes down the byline. He's tricky. He works well there for me. If he had someone that works on the outside of him, like anyone, even in fairness, even Bruno, if he's got
the players around him,
runner that can hit the ball first time, whip it in and stuff, you find Mainu just in and around the box a little bit more like even Bruno. But Bruno just can't retain the ball as good as a Mainu. You might find him getting a couple goals and stuff, and people it relieves pressure. That's where I think his future for me lies. Because Mainu, you know what? I love Mainu to bits. Yeah? I think he's a great, great player. But if we have another young player that comes through and playing with absolute dross, he's never going to improve. You're never going to get fans on the side of him. You're going to have him saying, "Oh, he's not good enough."
People gave him stick last week, and he was our best player versus.
He was our best player. Yeah, exactly. And then you look at someone like Garnacho, and he gets his name sung, and I'm thinking, what?
It's so weird. It's like bizarre. I think, like with Maino, it's like he had an injury, he was a bit iffy, but I actually thought he was quite good in one of the games he got slandered for, the Forest game. I thought the midfield was really good. I thought the forwards let us down.
The same thing, yeah.
Everyone was slandering him, and I was like, "Look, guys, like Maino's one of our best players. He's coming back from an injury. Like, yeah, I think in a double pivot he needs to run a bit more, and that's where he lacks a little bit." But I said, that you're silly if you think that Maino is the problem, because he could play double pivot. I think he could play left 10 if he had the players around him, like the really attacking left wing back that's gonna like overlap and provide that pace. Because I think his best role is more of a 10 in a midfield three rather than
I hear it.
a
Yeah, I
double
hear it.
10.
Yeah.
Because of like
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah. I think
sort
a
of a
lot of
weird
people have
position.
said that. But still, I feel like if you're playing in a box midfield, you got extra midfielders. What's your excuse? Like, what is your excuse? You've got a space. You're going to be in that space in a 4-3-3 anyways. What's the difference? It's at this time, you've got a left winger and a left back, which is different, but you got a wing back in this situation. But behind you, you've got not only a DM, but you've got also a left centre back who is also meant to be quite attacking in that role, which is the perfect role, what I'd call the Bastoni role. But
yeah, he'd be a great signing, but that's not going to happen.
That's never going to happen. That guy is just, he's Italian through and through, Inter Milan, not born. I don't think he doesn't come through their ranks, but you know, he does.
He's one of those that you take in a heartbeat, but it ain't happening.
He'd be a wicked sign. Oh my god, one can dream, innit? You look at like a Nasso, but I still want to see Kakonki. He's still in and around the first team training, so it makes me wonder: does he get the nod against maybe an Arsenal? If not, Southampton.
I'm thinking like he might get a look in. I think the thing is, if he was 18, I think he'd get a look in, but because he's 16,
yeah, you don't want to. You
that's
know
a
exactly
lot.
if he has one good game, you know exactly what the fan base is doing.
Yeah, and it's like people
And
forget how young 16
I'm
is.
included.
We'll get carried away, but I do think 16 and 18, like bringing in an 18-year-old and bringing in a 16-year-old, like I don't like 16 is so young, especially in defense, that it's like I'd like to see him, but you know, let's not rush it.
Yeah. Well, the last part is as well. I know it's not on their agenda exactly, but there's the whole question in Anana recently, and look, I know he's a difficult one for me because I don't feel like this is how he's meant to play. I think the less of the long ball stuff, for me, it needs to. And I don't know if that's the message or is that just a Nana or whatever it may be. But I reckon with a better side, you see less of a Nana and more of the players instead of him. But it's the mistakes. Again, it's just like I look at out there with the keeping situation. I think I know we question Nana, but that's not priority, right? He's been quite good this season until the whole team's confidence
It's good
has
till
dropped.
Forest, yeah.
Literally until Forest, and it's like I can't
he had
believe
like 3 bad games in a row.
Literally, and it's just like it's not on again a priority position for me at the moment.
Yeah,
but at the moment it's like everything's a priority. Goalkeeper, centre, well, not as much as centre back, wing
back.
back.
Like Ahmad's cool.
8,
everybody
10,
else,
striker. Literally, that's it. Would you start looking at potentially at a new keeper? Because obviously that's the latest is that Amrin wants a new keeper.
I think second keeper for sure, because we used to have like Romero that was good and Bayendir's not good. Like people think he's good, he's not good for me. Like he doesn't challenge Onana. A second keeper that could challenge Onana. Like if you look at Suzuki that we're linked to this when we got the summer we got Bayendir. You know, you look at some of other second goalkeepers out there. We need someone that's more of a challenge for Bayendir. Like for me, it's not a 2025 signing. It's let's see what happens in 2025. And if it looks like a weak spot, we address it in 2026. I've always said this, like for me, this summer is the wing back is the priority, the sorting the wing backs, but also I think 2 attacking reinforcements is needed. Left 10, assuming Rashford goes, and another striker, I think potentially, because we need goals. And then we just need legs in midfield. So like it's the wing backs, legs in midfield, attackers, and then you're talking left centre back as well. So that's six positions for me, which is a bigger priority than keeper. Next summer 2026, is like move on Bruno, get a keeper. Where else do we need to add? Hoping that we've got the recruitment right in 2025, and maybe this time next year we're like, oh, we finished in the top 4. We've got something to build upon. That's for me where I'm at.
Oh, I look at second keeper. How many second goalkeepers challenge? That's the way I look at it. I think it's too difficult. Everyone's relying on potential. Verbruggen potential, like obviously the Brian goalkeeper.
Like Kelleher's a good one. Obviously, wouldn't
Kelleher's
be.
just that's a luck of the draw type situation. Luck of the draw type situation. Nana don't get injured, and I always think goalkeepers need a run of games. So even from there, it's just like I just think, you're not going to spend more than 10 million, let alone 8 million on a goalkeeper, a backup one.
We should have kept Clover.
See that we got a buyback clause in him, and he's really good with his feet and whatnot. He's tremendous with his feet. But he's even got his starting position in goal for Bayer Leverkusen.
No, but he's a good backup for them. Like he's a more reliable backup than Baindir. And like when I say challenger Nana,
Homegrown.
I
He's
mean it.
classed as homegrown as well.
Yeah,
Cho.
I just want someone that like because Baindir barely plays unless we're playing someone that's absolutely dross. Like Baindir will not play against Arsenal in the FA Cup. It will be a Nana.
Nah, he's finished.
Yeah, there needs to be someone that like Amram be like, you know what, Anana, you just play all the Premier League games. I'm going to put this guy in all the Europa League games. Like Sergio Romero, we need someone that's a proper backup that we can actually rely on. Because Romero,
Yeah, I think.
fantastic in the cup
Yeah, I
games.
think. I think Kova. If I am Mate Kova, you already won the league there. You spent a few seasons now. It's like you probably think, can I challenge that #1 spot in Man United?
Mm.
You probably look at that situation as a player, or if you're Goldie, and think like, yeah, probably I can. I know the club inside out as well. Amrin might like him. He's a big frame. He's actually really good in the air as well. Collecting the ball, he's really good in the air. You know what? It makes me wonder. Like he had that such a great preseason. Again, it's just another one of those situations where it's like, why did we spend money on a goalkeeper? And in the same instance, go and get a Mason Mount when we've got all this talent in front of us.
Oh man,
Why
the
did we get
Mason
rid of
Mount
this or
signing.
that? That one. I think the Mason Mount signing pisses me off more than the Anthony signing.
Do you know what? I think Mason Mount, if you could stay fit, could work in Amron's system as that left turn. I do. But when we signed him,
As
I
a
was
backup.
annoyed
As a
because
backup.
I was annoyed when we signed him because I said 55 million on what isn't a priority position for me, and he's got 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
I said we needed Casado. I was begging. Chelsea got Casado. They used the amount of money to get Casado. I know it was ridiculous
That makes
price.
it worse. McAllister.
Yeah,
McAllister went for 35 million. I'm thinking,
exactly.
what we need is someone that can first
That
phase,
could play
collect
in
the
the
ball,
pivot. It doesn't have
play
to
in the
be just
pivot.
a 10. I literally
McAllister
said
next to Mainu.
McAllister, Casado, but before Mount, McAllister,
We
Casado.
couldn't get Caicedo at that point though. Like in that summer, he was worth a bomb. But
Yeah, everyone
then
wanted him.
and
That's
then
what
it
we
goes back
needed.
to you could have had him for 5 million.
Casado and Maino, like imagine that in our midfield. I like Agate as well, but like 3 options: Casado, Maino, Agate as options. Then you can put Maino in the 10.
I like Agate a lot, but
I like him.
there'll be one point where he's just very limited. But then again, that's why you get players to hide those limitations, like the long passing and whatnot. He's just great at clamping up play, and he's got the legs for it.
It's what we need now because like Newcastle were crying out for
Oh
him
my
because
word, he was crying out for him. If you had him and mine in a pivot, I reckon we don't concede none of those goals, and we're more the pressure's more on them at the start of the game.
yeah, it's just we've got
But
to
yeah,
fix the
we'll see.
midfield and the crossing defending from crosses. That's the only thing that the midfield can't do. The defense has got to be better defending crosses in that Newcastle game. All
Got
of
to be
them.
flawless.
It's
Got to be
shocking
flawless.
the
I
goals
mean,
we're conceding.
well, we'll talk about Liverpool tomorrow with Adam Matic. So yeah, look out for that one. Big up to Alice for jumping in as well. I mean, it's been recorded in a long time. I actually watched your video recently with like all these other fans, and now I've got Specs. You know, Newcastle fan Specs.
Was he the guy there?
The Newcastle fan, kind of
Yeah,
shortish.
yeah.
Him trying to battle out for Shearer in conversation. I was like, what is going on here? Who's making the decisions? Who invited this guy? But yeah, guys, if you don't know who Alice is, I'm pretty sure you'll do. Make sure to click the name. It will be in the title. So make sure you do that. Go subscribe. Even if it's a few, yes, you got over 100,000 subscribers now, innit?
Yeah, hit that
Hey,
2
big
weeks
up.
ago.
Little claps that you can't hear on the mic.
Appreciate
There you
that.
go. You got your plaque yet?
No, I they've said nothing to me yet. They still reviewing my channel apparently.
Soon
Yeah.
come. In a bit,
Hopefully.
people. Anyways, man.